today I'm going to show you guys how to make an abstract face in the style of the artist Kimmy Cantrell. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so today we're going to be making Kimmy Cantrell style asymmetrical faces. So I've got my supplies right here. I've got some cardboard. It's thin cardboard, really easy to cut. It's actually just old like cereal boxes and gift wrap boxes. Some pieces of scrap paper and some colors that I like. Some oil pastels, glue, scissors, a few pipe cleaners, and some colors that go good with my scrap paper colors, and a pencil. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So what we need to start with is the shape of the head. So if you've looked at Kimmy Cantrell's art, you will know that the shape of the heads that he makes usually aren't normal human head shapes. They're usually not an oval. So go ahead on your cardboard and kind of draw a cool, funky shape that you want to use for your head. So there's my shape. I think that looks pretty cool. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Alright, so there's my head, and then these scraps are pretty small, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw those away. So now I need to add my color, and so we're going to be adding color with our scrap paper. So what you want to do is you just want to take your scrap paper and kind of glue over your head in an arrangement that looks kind of cool. Alright, now we're going to be cutting that shape out again, so don't worry, but you want to completely cover up the cardboard. So I'm going to start with this piece. I'm just going to put it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to my cardboard. Now, anytime you're gluing something on that's papery, you really want to make sure that you have your glue all spread out over the whole surface area, because that will keep it from having areas that stick up and having tons of wrinkles. But you also want to make sure that you don't use a lot of glue. If you use too much glue, it'll still get really wrinkly. So I've just spread my glue out with my finger, and I'm going to go ahead and lay my first piece down. Then my next piece, I think I'm going to have kind of go like that. So I can go ahead and lay it down, and then I just need to add some glue to the back area that's not stuck to the cardboard, the part that doesn't already have glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit more back there. Just kind of spread it out with my finger, not too much. Nice and flat. And I think I want one more piece. Let's see. Maybe like that. So I'm going to go ahead and push that down on the part that has glue. Pick up this side. If you want to add glue to the whole piece of scrap paper and then just lay it down too, that's a totally okay way to do it. I just like doing it like that, so then the part of the scrap paper that's not touching my cardboard isn't sticking to the table. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over, really make sure that that's stuck on really good, and then we're going to go ahead and cut this shape out. This step, it's important to really cut neatly and just stay right up against the sides of your cardboard, and you're just cutting off that scrap paper that you don't need anymore, so you can see the shape of your face, the shape of your head. We're going to go ahead and take these scraps. If there's a big piece that you can save it. Little ones, we've already used, you know, this piece of paper more than once since it came out of the scrap box. So little ones you can toss. And you're going to flip back over. And now the shape of your head has some cool color to it. If you've got some pieces that didn't get glued down all the way, go ahead and squirt a little bit of glue underneath there so that they are all nice and flat. So the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to start, So the next thing you're gonna need to do is if you want any of these background colors to have any design on them, you wanna go ahead and add that now. I'm gonna do my design with oil pastels because I think they make really nice, bright, vibrant colors. You could use markers, you could use crayons, you could use colored pencils. Really, it just depends on what you prefer to draw with. So for example, I think I want this to have some kind of pattern on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a green, and I'm just gonna do a neat little stripe pattern that covers that peach color, just to make these skin tones or these colors that are on the head a little more interesting looking. If you wanted to have another area with, say, like polka dots or a different design, you could go ahead and do that now. It just depends on how many different areas you want to have designed to them. So maybe over here I could, you know, add some polka dots to correspond with the red section. Just kind of have fun with it. Alright, I think that's good. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start adding features. So these are what makes this look like a face. Now obviously Kimmy Cantrell was a really exciting, expressive artist, but his sculptures still look like heads. They don't just look like a bunch of different wild and crazy colors and patterns. And the thing that makes them still look like heads or make them still look like faces is that you can identify 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth on his images. So when we make our eyes and nose and mouth, they can be funky and a little different, but they should still look like eyes, a nose, and a mouth. So let me show you what I mean. For example, if I want to make a mouth, I pick a color, and I'm going to pick red so that the viewers of my art can recognize it as a mouth. And Kimmy Cantrell likes to do these great big really lush red lips on his art. So I think I'm going to design some fun red lips that are going to be a little abstract. So there's my red lips. You go ahead and cut that out of your scrap paper. So there are my red lips, and I think they'll go right there like that. But we want all of our different layers to be raised up a little bit. So I want to go ahead and take these and glue them onto another piece of cardboard. So I'm going to turn them over and put some glue on the back and spread that glue out nice and thin with my finger. And I'm going to go ahead and stick these onto some of my cardboard. And I'm going to go ahead and stick them on. Push them down real good. Then I'm going to go ahead and make my other features for the face while this dries. So anything else that you want to add to your image, whether that's 2 eyes, a nose, pretty much any characteristics that are typical on a face. So you just draw those on your scrap paper just like we did with the lips. Now keep in mind, Kimmy Cantrell's art was asymmetrical, which means not the same on both sides. So your eyes don't have to be the same. They don't have to match. In fact, I'm going to make mine not match because I think that's going to look more interesting in my picture. Then I need a nose. For my nose, I think I'm just going to pick a new color that I haven't used yet. But I am going to draw it so that it definitely looks like a nose, so that the viewers of my art can tell that it's supposed to be a nose. Alright, so I've got my eyes, my nose, and my mouth all made and glued onto the cardboard. Now, any details that you want these features to have, you want to go ahead and draw them on before you cut them out and put them on your head. So for example, my white eyes obviously need pupils. They need the pupil and the iris, so your colored part and your black dot in the middle. And since we said that Kimmy Cantrell's art is asymmetrical, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 different colors of eyes for mine. And I'm also going to go ahead and draw the nostrils on my nose to make it look a bit more like a nose. And I'm going to go ahead and also draw a black line across my lips to separate them so you can kind of see that their lips a little bit better. So now I've got my nose, eyes, and mouth ready to go, and they should be dry by now, so you can go ahead and cut those out of your cardboard so they should be nice and thick. So it's really important when you're cutting these features out that you cut right up against them, right up against that construction paper. What you don't want to do is you don't want to cut around them like this, because then you can see that cardboard that's behind them, and you don't want to see that. That's going to take away from your art. So it's almost better to even cut a little bit of that construction paper off as you're cutting than to cut too far away from the construction paper and have some cardboard showing. So you can see here I'm actually cutting so close that I'm cutting barely a little sliver of the construction paper along with my cardboard. But that looks good because you can't see any cardboard around the edges now. So you can see it's taking a really long time for me to get all this stuff cut out, which is okay. Cutting right on the line and making really neat features is what's really going to make this project look good. So it would be better to take a really long time to cut all this stuff out and have your project come out really, really neat than to rush through this step too quick and have it mess up your project. Also, be careful as you're touching your features if you are using oil pastels like I am, because you can see I've gotten some little oil pastel fingerprints on my nose right there. Sometimes you can erase that stuff and sometimes it won't come off, so just be careful not to get fingerprints all over your stuff. So now I've got my head, my lips, my eyes, and my nose all ready to glue on. Now remember, they don't have to be arranged the way they would be on a normal face where you have 2 eyes, then a nose right below, then a mouth right below, all centered. You can off-center stuff if you like, so I'm going to slide my lips over to the side. You can turn stuff if you want. I think I might have this eye turned sideways, so I think that makes it look a little bit more interesting. However, you can still tell that it's a face. If you rearrange everything so much that you can't tell that it's a face, then you're not really creating a successful project in the style of Kimmy Cantrell. So you really want to focus on that. And remember, you can even have stuff hang off the side a little bit if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down. And you're just going to glue the same way we have been. Put the glue on the back. Spread it out with your finger. Now, if you're spreading glue out on the shiny side of some of the cardboard, because some of the cardboard has shininess on one side from the printing, when you stick it on, that's when it's really, really important to hold it down for a few seconds until you know that it's not going to peel back up on the sides. So if it does start to peel back up, you need to go back to holding it down until it really sticks good. And the trick here is to not use too much glue, because the more glue you use, the longer you have to hold it down, because you have to hold it down until that glue starts to dry. That's when it starts to become sticky. So less glue spread out really, really thin is always better than too much glue. So I'm gonna have to hold that down for a little bit. Sometimes you can multitask and hold one down while you put some glue on the other. It just kind of depends. Maybe I can go ahead and hold both of these down, trying to get them to stick real good. Alright, so once you have all your features stuck on, you know they're stuck on really, really good, they're not going to start to peel off, we can just go ahead and add some finishing touches. So finishing touches are like little details to kind of make our project extra good. So for example, a lot of Kimmy Cantrell's heads have negative space to them. That means they have like holes cut out of them. So I think I want to have some holes or some negative space up here in these fun little funky shapes that I have at the top of my head. So I'm going to draw very lightly what I want that negative space to look like. Then, since this is so thick, I'm going to take a hole punch. I'm going to punch a couple holes that are kind of together. That's going to help me get my scissors in there a little bit better to cut that stuff out. There's one hole. There's a second hole, and now for my last one. Little tip, the bigger you make your holes, the easier they are to cut out. The bigger your negative space is, the easier it is to cut it out. Another finishing touch that you can add is you can add some pipe cleaners just to make your project a little bit more interesting. So anywhere that you want to add them, I think I'm going to add them going right along there. You just take your hole punch and you hole punch a hole for each pipe cleaner. You can just put it in. You can have them do some funky twist. I think I'm going to take mine and twist them together so it becomes one thick pipe cleaner to stay in the hole. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it around a pencil to kind of give it a fun spring look. I'm going to wrap it real tight around that pencil and just slide the pencil out, and it gives it a cool spring effect. Two springs. This one could. And I think that's it. I think I'm all done with mine. I think it came out pretty cool. So this is something you can hang on a wall. You can mount on a piece of cardboard or a piece of matte board or black paper and hang up with a frame. Heck, you could even put a stick under it and make it into, you know, a fun little party mask or photo booth prop. But it's going to be really unique and special because it's in the style of a famous artist. So I'm sure just watching this, you probably got a lot of other ideas for other ways you could embellish yours. You could add beads, you could add other accessories, you could add other details or designs on your face. But I hope that my video gave you some ideas for how you can get started and be creative in the style of Kimmy Cantrell.
Alright, well that's it. I hope you really enjoyed making this project. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think that there's a lot of cool ways you could experiment with it and change it to make it your own. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.